Is it finally happening? After years of underachievement and managerial musical chairs, are Chelsea back as a force to be reckoned with? The early signs are worrying for their rivals. A new tactical genius in Enzo Maresca is at the helm, big money signings are firing, and young talents are blossoming. Rivals, you've been warned. This Chelsea side means business. Let's be honest, Chelsea have been a mess in recent years. Endless manager sackings, disjointed tactics, and expensive signings failing to live up to the hype. The Blues were a club drifting aimlessly, yearning for stability and an identity. Fans were disillusioned, hoping for a return to the glory days. Something had to change. But what? The cavalry finally arrived in Enzo Maresca. This young, forward-thinking manager was the breath of fresh air Chelsea craved. Renowned for innovative tactics and nurturing young talent, Maresca wasted no time stamping his philosophy on the club. But could he steady this rocky ship? Initially, there were doubters. After all, Maresca was relatively unproven, but his astute thinking and meticulous planning suggest he may have finally solved Chelsea's identity crisis. An exciting new era is unfolding in West London, one that should strike fear into the Premier League. From the muddled mess of previous regimes, Maresca has swiftly implemented a coherent and recognisable playing style. His data-driven approach leaves no stone unturned in pursuit of marginal gains. Players clearly understand their roles within his dynamic tactical system. But this isn't just aimless tinkering. Maresca's methods are reaping tangible rewards on the pitch. The team's positional discipline, relentless pressing, and cohesive movement are all hallmarks of a well-drilled unit bought into his vision. An exciting new Chelsea identity is blossoming before our eyes. Behind the scenes, Maresca has overhauled Chelsea's training regime with a raft of modern, cutting-edge methods. From conditioning and nutrition plans tailored for each player to pioneering psychological techniques, he's explored every avenue to eke out improvements. The impact has been transformative. Fitness levels have skyrocketed, decision-making is sharper, and a renewed intensity radiates throughout the squad. You can see it in their lung-busting pressing and ability to maintain blistering tempos late into games. This motivational new environment, underpinned by trust in Maresca's process, has Chelsea stars thriving like never before. Just wait until you see what's coming next. One underrated aspect of Maresca's revolution has been his intelligent squad rotation. No longer are certain big names droppable. A hunger for opportunity now permeates the squad, galvanizing fringe players who finally sense a chance. The benefits are twofold. Firstly, intense competition for places has raised performance levels throughout the team. Secondly, this rotation has prevented player burnout and fatigue, ensuring Maresca can consistently field energetic, motivated starting 11s. Overlooked youngsters like Levi Colwill have especially flourished under this system. Their emergence has injected vibrancy and dynamism, creating crucial squad depth. Don't be surprised if more academy starlets follow their lead. But perhaps Maresca's greatest achievement has been fostering a unified team spirit where all players are pulling in the same direction. Despite their underdog status when he arrived, players have wholeheartedly bought into his philosophy and long-term project. Boosted by positive psychological techniques, a calm confidence now radiates throughout the squad. No longer a Chelsea team plagued by fragility and self-doubt. Instead, an inner steel and single-minded determination underpins their approach. This collective faith and trust allows players to remain composed in high-pressure situations, always believing the system will prevail. Chelsea's turnaround has been most evident at Stamford Bridge, where they've overwhelmed opponents with controlled possession and ruthless attacking verve. The recent thrashing of Aston Villa showcased their frightening potential when firing on all cylinders. Once vulnerable at home, the Blues are now devouring teams with slick passing triangles and overloads down the flanks. Their incisive movement consistently shreds opposition defences, creating chance after chance for clinical finishers like Palmer and Jackson. But it's not just attacking quality separating this new-look Chelsea. Their coordinated pressing and defensive shape are squeezing the life out of rivals, minimising chances conceded. Maresca is moulding a complete team capable of outplaying anyone. What's elevating Chelsea above the rest, though, are Maresca's incredible in-game management skills. His shrewd tactical tweaks frequently outwit opposing managers, helping swing games their way. It was evident in their recent comeback victory over Spurs. Trailing 2-0 just 11 minutes into the game, Maresca refreshed Chelsea's attacking shape to stretch Spurs' defence, leading to an onslaught of second-half chances and a 4-2 triumph. Similarly, an early shift to a low-block nullified Aston Villa's counter-attacking threat on their way to a 3-0 home win. Games against Arsenal and Newcastle saw Maresca's fluidity and adaptability shine through once more. These tactical adjustments seem like minor details, but reflect a broader, revolutionary change within the club. Finally, Chelsea have an elite thinker pushing the right buttons at pivotal moments. Part of Maresca's wizardry has been maximising Chelsea's crop of gifted youngsters. Once peripheral figures, academy products are now thriving as key first-team contributors. The crown jewel is Levi Colwill, whose dynamic performances at centre-back have cemented him as first choice. His defensive resilience and elite athleticism encapsulate the energy and exuberance pulsing through Chelsea's ranks. More excitingly, Colwill might only be scratching the surface of his vast potential. The same applies to fellow breakout stars like Tyreek George and Benwheat Badiashile. Fearless, hungry, and supremely talented, this young core could form Chelsea's backbone for a decade. Under Maresca's expert tutelage, these prospects are being fast-tracked to stardom. Young promise combines menacingly with revitalized marquee signings, finally justifying their hefty price tags. Expensive acquisitions like Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo were initially questioned, but their true quality now shines through. The £107 million Fernandez encapsulates this renaissance. Initially criticised after a difficult debut campaign, the Argentine midfield metronome is dominating games with his passing range and intelligent movement. His burgeoning partnership with Moises Caicedo has brought Chelsea control they've lacked for years. Caicedo's athleticism and versatility has really shone through this season, with the South American even filling in at right back in recent weeks. With other signings like Noni Madueke also finding form, Chelsea's lavish investment is finally bearing fruit. Their squad depth and quality is truly frightening. Impressively, Chelsea's newfound potency hasn't compromised defensive solidity. Maresca has instilled a well-drilled defensive shape and structure that drastically reduced their soft underbelly of recent campaigns. Coordinated pressing across the pitch shuts off supply lines, while compact defensive lines are harder to breach. Just look at the numbers. Chelsea have conceded the third fewest goals in the league, with only Liverpool and Arsenal conceding less. This steel and organisation complements their attacking prowess perfectly. The ability to combine defensive resilience and clinical finishing was always Chelsea's holy grail under previous regimes. Now they've struck the perfect balance again. Levi Colwill continues to marshal the rearguard impressively, even though only aged 21. But the real beneficiary has been goalkeeper Robert Sanchez, whose newfound consistency and assuredness stems from greater protection in front of him. If their defensive stability was one piece of the puzzle, Chelsea's attacking efficiency provides the other. Maresca's intricate attacking patterns revolve around precision passing triangles, incisive movement off the ball, and lethal finishing. Defenders are constantly manipulated out of position by intelligent rotations, creating openings and overloads, especially in wide areas where Chelsea prey. It's a simple yet devastatingly effective system, fueling their high-scoring output. The numbers back it up too. Chelsea rank among the Premier League's most ruthless finishers from open play, a far cry from previous wastefulness. Averaging more than 2 goals per game, the Blues are the top scorers in the league. Crucially, that efficiency spreads across the forward line, from Palmer replicating his form from last season to Nicholas Jackson rediscovering his scoring touch. Goals are flowing from multiple sources. And surprisingly, their scintillating form sees Chelsea outperforming direct top 6 rivals. Recent wins over Newcastle and Aston Villa underline their progress by brushing aside fellow Champions League contenders. These weren't smash-and-grab victories either. Chelsea controlled proceedings from start to finish, dominating possession and territory while showcasing a clinical edge. Ruthless transitions and exploitation of space routinely carved open 2 of the division's toughest defences. Such authoritative victories over fellow heavyweights prove Maresca's revolution is no mirage. These weren't lucky wins, but glimpses into Chelsea's new identity as a progressive force to be reckoned with. They also managed to grab a comeback draw against Arsenal. Rivals are rapidly running out of excuses. This is a different beast entirely to previous Chelsea sides, one with the tactical acumen and talent to compete at the summit once more. Crucially, Chelsea's resurgence is also translating onto the European stage, where they've impressed against continental opposition in the Europa Conference League. Even though it is the lowest European competition, Chelsea sit atop the league phase with 5 wins from 5, scoring 21 goals in the process. Such performances are making them favourites to lift the European Conference League with ease. While participating in Europe's lowest tournament naturally limits their calibre of opponent, these positive signs hint at greater potential in higher echelons soon. With the right summer reinforcements and continued progress, a Champions League run looks possible. But perhaps the most daunting aspect of Chelsea's transformation has been their newly instilled aura of self-belief and confidence. Gone are the days of fragility and self-doubt crippling their mentality. Instead, a steely determination and calm assurance underpins the entire squad under Maresca's tutelage. Rooted in a deep trust of his system and methods, this singular focus allows players to overcome setbacks and execute game plans calmly under pressure. Crucially, that infectious positivity spreads from stars to fringe players alike. Academy graduates are exuding the same big game mentality as established professionals, creating a unified spirit coursing through Chelsea's ranks. For opponents, this psychological edge is as daunting as their on-field improvement. How do you rattle a group operating with such clarity and belief? If Chelsea can sustain this irresistible mid-season form, they'll surely force their way back into an intriguing Premier League title picture come springtime. Currently residing in second place after an impressive start, a genuine title charge seems increasingly possible. Of course, fending off the relentless Liverpool juggernaut will be a hard task after their consistent excellence this season. But if any team has the firepower and mentality to capitalise on a rare Liverpool lapse, it's Maresca's revitalised Chelsea. Either way, the Blues have already defiantly returned among England's elite after a period in the wilderness. Rivals can no longer dismiss them as faded forces resting on past glories. The sleeping giant has awoken with renewed vigour under inspired leadership. Should Maresca continue delivering on his early promise, Chelsea are primed to enter a new sustained period of domestic and European dominance. Imagine where they could be in 2 or 3 years' time. With promising youngsters bedded in, recruitment focused on supplementing strengths, and Maresca's innovative methods fully embedded, the West Londoners would become a dominant force again. A perfect storm of elite coaching, talent production, and astute investment could recreate their early 2000s supremacy, where they set the Premier League's gold standard under Mourinho and Abramovich's early ownership. The Premier League landscape may have permanently shifted if so. A newly emboldened, aesthetically pleasing Chelsea side possessing depth and sustainability becomes an annual title challenger and Champions League threat. Rivals, consider yourselves warned. Watch the video on screen now to find out how Enzo Maresca is building an army at Chelsea that is putting them well and truly in a Premier League title race.